Was a nail biter. Just when you thought the Mets had themselves a comfortable lead heading into the ninth inning, up 5-0, all thanks to Mr. Lindor himself and Francisco Lindor. We stretch Max Kranick just a little too far. I almost knocked this over, and that's okay. Edwin Diaz comes in, gives up a nuke to the best hitter so far this year, not named Kyle Schwarber or Harper for the Phillies, and Bryson Stott, but it doesn't matter, thankfully, in the end. It was a sweaty one. It was a nasty one. But folks, let's here to break down the latest New York Metropolitan post-game show as the Mets take down the Philadelphia Phillies in a very dramatic playoff-type fashion here, where you bring in Edwin, he gives up the bomb to Bryson, then we see him strike out Trey, and he strikes out Bryce Harper, and the Mets win a nail-biter, everybody. Francisco Lindor continues to carry. We have so much to get into our latest New York Metropolitan show, and our latest New York Mets post-game show, I should say, presented by our awesome friends at BetUS TV and SeatGeek, but more of them in a little bit, everybody. First and foremost, everybody, I gotta see you spam the W's. Watching live, watching on replay, spam those W's in the chat right now as we're gonna break down everything to a T that transpired in this ball game. Innings 1 through 9. Tyler Megill looking absolutely dominant in this one. Francisco Lindor leading the charge like always, and yes, folks, he's already looking like an MVP candidate, even with the polar bear not providing much. The Mets and the Phillies didn't have a lot to hit in this one, but the Mets prevailed in the end. A sweaty one, folks, not an ideal one, but spam those W's right here, right now, everybody, and let's let it rip with the one, the only, the official WardyNYM post-game jingle, baby. Let's go! Ha ha! Woo! Shout out to my guys Greg and Jordan, as always, with the official WardyNYM post-game jingle. Don't mind the emptiness behind me. We are officially moving the WardyNYM studios, getting a nicer space for each and every one of you. This will look better and have more of my piazza frames and other things here within the coming days, so be on the lookout for it, everybody. But folks, how we feeling? Oh my goodness, I would have felt amazing if that ninth inning didn't go the way that it did. Carlos Mendoza got a little greedy, stretched Max Kranick farther than he's ever been before, but the problem here, you stretch Max Kranick against the best competition the Mets have faced yet, and unfortunately, that competition finally woke up today with the offense before this ball game ended. So folks, we're going to get into the highs, the lows, everything in between in this one, everybody. But folks, how this game starts and ends still has everything to do with Mr. Smile himself, our captain, your captain, folks. We got a lot to talk about on Francisco Lindor. We got a lot to get into between these two teams, because the Mets tonight had themselves Jesse Winker at DH over Starling Marte, and a lot of people were like, why is Marte not starting at DH when he has a favorable pitching matchup, at least on paper? If you look up the numbers, the splits, well, Jesse Winker not only fared well against these Phillies and Aaron back in the NLDS, but a continuation of that naturally felt was going to be the case for Carlos Mendoza, puts him in the DH spot, and Jesse Winker steps up big time in this one too, everybody. The Mets got just enough on the offensive end, because every single night it feels like, if not one, then certainly multiple people are going out of their way to carry more than others, everybody. Billy, thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate that. Billy states right away in the chat, hope Diaz opts out. Can't keep liking this. Can't keep living like this. I don't want Diaz to opt out, but I obviously want him to be better than what he has been so far this year. He has been a little erratic. He's given up nukes, but at the same time, how much are we going to blame this on Edwin Diaz when it's not his fault that he had to adopt a multi-runner on base mess with less than 2 out? I understand both sides of the coin. You want your $100 million man out of the bullpen to get the punchies in the key moments regardless of the situation, and at the same time, you understand the context, how things would have likely been better, and maybe he wouldn't have given up any runs if he started the inning to begin with. The shame of this all, everybody, and this is the one thing we could probably nitpick on Carlos Mendoza that we'll get into shortly, is that why why are we throwing out Max Kranick for a third consecutive inning? You know what I mean? Like, I get it. He's looked good, but at the same time, I think we evaluate this ball game a little too much, thinking it's closer to a 10-run lead than just a 5-0 lead, when this is the Philadelphia Phillies, an arch rival in the division. As soon as they get a taste, as soon as they get that sniff of blood, think of the shark right away, Bruce, in Finding Nemo. As soon as they get that taste, they start to pounce, and that is exactly what they did in this matchup. Thankfully, they pulled Kranick before it was too late, and even though that Edwin gave up that bomb, it was still enough to win the ball game. A shaky one, not ideal as we look to see if Edwin will be available tomorrow, when obviously you're not loving the idea of him coming in a tight game at the very moment. But folks, there's still a lot of positives to get into, and I want to break them all down. So shout out to everyone first chiming in live on a replay. We're happy to have you in here. We break down every single Mets game throughout the course of the 162, the way that we're doing right here, right now, and we're going to do it tomorrow with an in-game watch party and a post-game show, everybody. And in case you guys don't know the deal here, briefly let me put you all on to what we will be doing tomorrow beginning 6:45 p.m. Eastern. Everybody, take a look at the following. We are going to be live, like I said, in the Playback app. Head over to playback.tv/WardyNYM. Would really mean a lot, because we're going to be live actually showcasing the Mets game like we've done in the past. So all you guys need is to click the link down below to playback.tv/WardyNYM. Sign up for free, and if you have an MLB TV subscription, you're going to be able to watch the Mets game live in real time with your guy Wardy, even while listening to your favorite broadcast and GKR. You can fix the audio levels if you want to listen to me more or GKR, and we're going to have so much fun covering the entire Mets-Phillies Game 2 matchup tomorrow live on YouTube and the Playback app. With a big difference, if you're in Playback, you can chat. We can even bring you on stage to actually chime in for any or so should you guys have interest, versus on YouTube, I'm just showing the scoreboard. That's that, and there's nothing else to it. So check it out, everybody. Our next official watch party, our biggest one yet this season, on the Playback app at playback.tv/WardyNYM. Join by clicking that link down below, and thank you guys so much for doing that. But folks, let's talk about this ball game now, shall we? Dave with a $5 holla. Thank you so much, Dave. Dave says, Diaz worries me. He's Jekyll and Hyde. Of course he's Jekyll and Hyde. This is what happens when you have a flamethrowing right-hander, which is a slider and a fastball, and not having comfortability with one. If he's not locating, there's a problem. If he doesn't have comfortability with one, there's a problem. But when he's on, he's among the best relievers in the game, and that's what the Mets are hoping they get more out of with Edwin this season. Steve with the $5 holla. Love you, Steve. Great member of the chat. Steve states, Diaz may be a heart attack on the mound, but he has yet to blow a save. That's 1,000% true. Thank you so much for the donation, Steve. I appreciate that. Brendan with the $2 holla states, I had faith the whole time they would win. I'm glad you had that faith, as did I. Even with Edwin blowing it towards the end, I'm like, Phillies post-game wishes that they're going to come all the way back. I have it recorded right now because I live an hour outside of Philly, so I was watching the broadcast, sadly, not through GKR, but through NBC Sports, because I was blacked out today. Won't be tomorrow. Shout out to Playback for that. But their pre- and post-game show are hilarious, and I cannot wait to see how deflated they're going to be. I'm recording that. That's what I'm going to watch before I hit the hay tonight, so I can sleep like a baby. But how we doing? Rebecca, Dad Dude, Chad, how we doing? Moises, how we doing? Big Chungus in the chat, how you doing? Dave, my man, Zach Flagerton, Monique, Rebecca, great member. Juan Diaz, great member and moderator. Michael, how you doing? Hey, Jack, great member. JR, great member. How we doing, everybody? Continue to spam those W's live on a replay, folks. Use our W emojis. Use the Francisco Lindor emojis. All that is available to my members, and if you want to become a member, it's linked down below in the description for you guys to check out. Thank you so much for doing that. D-Mac, great member as always. We got our guy Anthony, fellow YouTuber, in the chat. How you doing, baby? We got Ant, we got Easy, we got Alfred, we got everybody and your mother, so I apologize if I miss anyone, but guys, we got a lot to break down, so no more wasting time. Let me get into this ball game, anybody for each and every one of you, because it was a good one. What a ball game here, everybody. Francisco Lindor continues to save my life and yours, everybody, and the game starts here in the first. We got Tyler Megill, big trip on the mound today. What is Tyler Megill gonna do this, everybody? I know I'm not watching the Knicks game because I cover the Mets for a living. I gotta prioritize this first. I'm gonna watch everything Knicks after this one, because the last time I checked, they were losing by 10 heading into the fourth. I have no clue what the stats is yet. You guys can let me know in the chat about it. Thank you so much for that. In the first, everybody, Bryson Stott pops out to Tyler Megill. We would then see Trey Turner with a walk. I was kind of bothered by the Trey Turner walk right away, not only because it's a Tyler Megill special to walk one too many guys, it feels, but secondly, because Turner has a speed. Why are we putting a speedster on right away to begin this ball game? I don't love it. You don't love it. Regardless, there's one on with one away for Bryce Harper, who strikes out. And honestly, Bryce Harper looked like shit today. Pardon my French. Nothing about him was was like, oh my goodness, it's Bryce Harper. I mean, Bryce Harper looked like a kid in comparison to Lindor, who looked like an absolute daddy this entire one. If you know, you know. Bryce strikes out on 96 right down the pipe with ease for Tyler Megill, and then Kyle Schwarber pops out, and that does it there for the first. In the bottom of the first, everybody, who gets the party started? Of course, exactly what you would expect, and that's why we got to talk about him already, because of what he did in the beginning and in the end of this ball game, everybody. Please appreciate the further greatness that is our captain and Francisco Lindor. What a game for Mr. Smile, and no doubt are right, giving us shades of the NLDS right away, and then bam, that one especially, when the boys are looking for more runs, when they're looking for insurance, when they're down and out with 2 outs late in the ball game. Who is there? Francisco Lindor is there. Lindor with 2 bombs, 4 RBIs. He's up to a 284 average, an 840 OPS. His best start to a season in a New York Mets uniform yet. He got north of 40,000 strong on a Monday night roaring, my girl. And you gotta love it, everybody. What a start to the season for Mr. Smile. I am obsessed. I've been obsessed. I've loved him since day one. And this is exactly why I told each and every one of you, when so many fans were fair weather in the first year and a half of Lindor being here, saying, oh, he's not him. Oh, he's a bum. Oh, he won't step up. Give it time. Look at this man. We're witnessing a surefire Hall of Famer at shortstop, and he's going to go in the Hall as a Met. You got Juan Soto, who's going to go in the Hall more than likely as a Met. Maybe the Polar Bear, if things really go right and we win some things with him, he may go in, guys. Listen, the core of this offense is elite. It's among the best in the game, and Lindor is picking right up where he left off last year. Buddy's back is feeling good enough because he knows he doesn't got to carry anymore. He did today, but not purposely. It just happens when you're that good. But when you got Alonso playing the way he is, the way that Soto's starting to heat up, he just missed that bomb. I know, I'm still mad about it. So many good takeaways on the core of this offense and the big 3-headed monster. Francisco Lindor, I got to see from you guys in the chat and the comments down below, how amped up are you when Mr. Smile's start to the season, folks? We are talking about territory that is historic, because not only is Francisco Lindor joining an illustrious club that we saw from a couple nights ago, was 250th career home run as a shortstop. Barry, thank you for the $2 holla. He really wants that MVP. You're damn right he does, and maybe, just maybe, he'll find himself getting it, folks. But listen to this statistic, which is just so amazing to see. Francisco Lindor is now the 3rd player in Major League Baseball history with 20 career multi-home run games as a shortstop, joining, yes, Alex Rodriguez and Ernie Banks. I mean, are you kidding me right now? This guy's unbelievable. He's doing things at an alarming rate in a great way. And Francisco Lindor, if you don't think he's a captain of this Mets team, I got a bridge to sell you, baby. And yes, we're bringing that line back from just a couple years ago. If you know, you know, back to the origin story of WardyNYM when we started YouTube here, with all the lines and words I would have, the phrases I would say, rather. Francisco Lindor, baby, what a story. Now let's get back to breaking more down about this ball game. Oh my God, I literally can't even get over him. Like, I shouldn't say I was shaking, but I got chills down my spine on that second home run as I jumped down my seat. I can't even fathom the fact that Francisco Lindor, I know we saw a lot of this last year in the summer, but I feel unbelievably spoiled as a Mets fan right now with a guy like him as our shortstop every single day. The team is now 16-7. The bullpen tried to blow it towards the end, and I didn't love Mendoza's decision-making originally, but that's okay because the boys still win it in the end here, everybody. And as we continue to break down what was a massive Game 1 victory of a 3-game set, as the Mets are now 5-0 and 10-1 at Citi Field this year. 5-0 on the homestand, 10-1 at least on this season. This is absolutely ridiculous, everybody. Like we noted just a day or so ago, the last time the Mets were 9-1 to begin the season at home was 1986. The last time the Mets went 10-0 to begin the season, we saw was Citi Field 2015. They're doing historic things right now, everybody. And I'm not saying to connect all the dots, but damn it, I'm telling you to pay attention, because the boys are playing really good right now, and we know that the best is yet to come. Soto's not locked in nearly enough. The entire lineup is not nearly locked in. Mark Vientos isn't even batting at his peak yet this year. He wasn't even batting tonight. There's so much more to be had with this Mets team, everybody, which is why I tell you, get ready, because this is going to be such a massive 162. And as Lindor gave the Mets that 1-0 lead that we saw there in the bottom of the first, Soto would strike out on what was an unfortunate breaking ball. Good pitch there by Nola, but he chased for sure. Alonso would have line out, and Nimmo would have fly out, does it there for the first. And the second, we would see Nicky C and Nick Castellanos strikeout on a fastball, Kepler on a fastball as well, and then Mr. JT Realmuto strikes out on the sinker. Folks, don't look now, but Big Drip just had himself a 1-2-3 second inning. He's looking good, baby. More to come. Oh, I almost choked for a second. I'm talking way too fast. I apologize. Oh, baby, I'm hyped up right now. I'm amped up right now. In the second inning, Nicky C, we just talked about him. Yes, we did. So now let's get to the bottom of the second. Jesse Winker has a hit parade start, everybody. Jesse Winker, what a no-doubter to right. And again, continued shades of the NLDS, everybody. We all saw Jesse hit a bomb against the Phillies last time around. He did it yet again. Had Citi Field roaring, rightfully so, because we know, if there's one thing we know about Jesse Winker, he feeds off of the fan base. He feeds off of the energy, and he knows that this Mets fan base is different. That's why he's loved them from the start, even as a villain, now turned friend here, and Jesse Winker is going to have a lot more moments just like that throughout the course of the season at Citi Field for a packed Citi Field crowd, rightfully so. Nick's just, you hate to see it. Let's see here. Rebecca's saying Pistons are clutch. She's happy that they won. You're killing me if that's the case. I absolutely hate that. I know someone said the Knicks tied in the chat, but guys, what's going on with the Knicks game? Let me know in the chat right now. In the comments down below, it won't matter because we'll already know the results by then. But we continue on here, everybody, because we would see after that Jesse Winker home run, an absolute no-doubter, and it was a meatball down the middle by Aaron Nola. Buddy has one of the worst fastballs in the game right now, velo-wise. He's in the bottom 10 percentile, sitting not even 91 consistently on the gun with his heater, throws a meatball middle. What do you think's going to happen, buddy? It's ripped to right, and that's a 2-0 Mets lead. Terrence, Acuna, Beatty go down from there. Let's see here. Oh, you're not happy? I got you. Okay, let's see here. Everybody. It's a chat. Someone said in the chat, the Pistons have a fan. So the Mets lost. I'm not the Mets. The Knicks lost in dramatic 3. You hate to see it. I'm not looking forward to watching those highlights. All right, as we continue on, everybody. In the third, Alec Boehm would get actually a strikeout. Great job by the Mets there. I was annoyed that Boehm got on later in the game with a walk because Alec Boehm is playing horrendously to start the season. No reason for them to do that whatsoever. Boehm with a strikeout. Rojas with a ground out. Stott with a 2-out single because he's been great as a plate setter. He's been averaging more pitches that he's seen per at-bat than pretty much anyone else in the National League or close to. He's been not good to begin the year, and he deserves credit, Bryson Stott, because he torched us before this ball game ended. Scott with a single. Trey Turner with a walk, his second of the day in 3 innings. Harper then with a walk, guys. There is bases loaded for Tyler Megill facing Kyle Schwarber. Schwarber, the hottest hitter so far this year, you could rightfully argue, for the Phillies, with 7 home runs, leading the team with Bryce Harper behind him at 5. And what does Kyle Schwarber do? He strikes out swinging. Bulldog mentality, bulldog stuff from Tyler Megill, who escapes the jam unscathed in the top of the third, which then leads us to the bottom of the third, everybody, where Tyrone Taylor with a bloop opposite field single, Lindor with a walk, and then Soto just misses that what felt like towering home run to right. It got all that one. It almost went out of the park. It felt like their top deck there to right. Beautiful job by Juan Soto, but it was, again, a hair foul, sadly. He goes back. He ultimately grounds out. He moves the runners over in doing so, but the Mets don't score him because Alonso strikes out on a nasty knuckle curve by Nola. Got him chased down and away, unfortunately. Then Nimmo freezes on an inside sinker that stranded the runners. So the Mets, looking for insurance, thought they had it. I jumped out of my seat. I was getting ready to post everything, live tweeting the Soto home run. So ecstatic. I felt the adrenaline, but I went from such a high to a low in approximately not even 30 seconds or so because of when we realized that it was going to be foul and it wasn't going to go in our favor. Such a shame, but hopefully Juan Soto hits his first home run at Citi Field as soon as tomorrow, because as we discussed in our pregame segment earlier today, everybody, listen to this. Juan Soto has 19 home runs, the most home runs against any team again in Major League Baseball for himself. His own personal record is a 3-way tie. It's the Atlanta Braves at 19. It's the New York Mets at 19. And it's the Philadelphia Phillies at 19. We all know he wants number 20. He wants to put the Phillies in sole possession, sole spot, a number 1 on Soto's personal leaderboard. Hopefully that happens tomorrow, but unfortunately just missed that home run, which then takes us to the 4th, everybody. And before we talk more on this ball game and get into it, I want to do a quick shout out because it's definitely fitting right now to our awesome friends at BetUS TV that have you covered with all the latest odds, picks, and lines. Because as we talk about MVP, everybody, I'm going to need to find the line here of Francisco Lindor to show you guys tomorrow, because Lindor might be now entering that conversation greater than ever, right? Alonso plus 2,000 last time we checked. Soto plus 1,000 last time we checked, everybody. And Alonso has been the leading MVP candidate amongst the three-headed monsters so far this season. Let's see if that continues or if Lindor now finds himself more in charge of that. We'll find out those lines and we'll have them for you guys as soon as tomorrow. But for all the latest odds, picks, and lines and fun plays like this, check out our awesome friends at BetUS TV. And thank you guys for doing that. Again, make sure you do it responsibly, of course. Darren with the $2 hollow says, it always seems Stott hurts the Mets. He is a very solid infielder for sure. Former top pick there from Vegas. He definitely can be a pain in the neck for sure. Let's see, Ron O'Corin in the chat says, honestly, the Phillies looked old and tired. Am I the only one who sees the Phillies window to a championship closing? Mets are just a better team at this point. I don't disagree with you. I think we all agree that their window's closing, but this is still a make or break year for the Phillies, and I think that they're going to be desperate enough by the deadline to make some dramatic moves in hopes that that's going to be the difference maker for them and get on a deeper run. We'll see. I fully expect them to make playoffs this year, but to your point, yes, they are an aging team, and while their rotation is nails when right, I love the prospect to how the Mets can match up against them in postseason again, or obviously a different team there and potentially give Philly another early exit. We'll see what happens, everybody. But going back to breaking down this ball game, we then get everybody to the top of the fourth. We're in the top of the fourth. Tyler Megill strikes at Nick Castellanos looking on the fastball. Then we would see Kepler with a fly out and JT with a pop out. And that's a nice, easy 1, 2, 3 inning of work for Big Drip Megill. In the bottom of the fourth, Jesse Winker with a single, his second hit of the day, his first single versus a home run. Torrens with an unfortunate double play thereafter, and then Acuna grounds out to end it. As we then enter the fifth, Alec Boehm with a walk, Rojas with a sinker that we saw. That was, again, good job there. And Mr. Bryson Stott with a strikeout, and that was on the fastball. Turner with a strikeout, and that was also on the fastball. Caught them both looking, if I'm not mistaken, or close to. And at that point, everybody, through 5 innings, Tyler Megill had matched his career high. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, and not 9. No, folks, 10 strikeouts for Tyler Megill through 5 against the Phillies, swinging and missing like Philly always does. Their big boomer bust, and the Mets made sure that, at least for the most part, outside that 9th inning, that they were busted and not booming as much. In the 6th inning, everybody, we would see Bryce Harper get on with a walk. Schwarber then with a fly out, and then here comes Reed Garrett, everybody. Reed Garrett comes in, he gets a pop out on Nicky C right away. Kepler then with a single, and then JT Realmuto strikes out to end it, everybody. Reed Garrett escapes the jam like the bulldog that he is, and Tyler Megill gives us quite the final line. I know there's still more work to do, folks, but this was a special outing. 5.1 innings of 92 pitch, 1 hit, 4 walks, 0 earned, 1, 10 strikeout ball for now just over a 1 ERA on the season for Tyler Megill at home at Citi Field against these Phillies. You knew Megill was feeling it the same way that he felt it in 2022 when he factored into the Mets' complete save shutout there against the Philadelphia Phillies. Let's not forget that. The no-no, I should say. I don't know why it's a complete game save shutout. I meant to say complete game no-no that we saw between not just him, Edwin, and others. Tyler Megill continues to carve up this Philadelphia Philly team at Citi Field especially, and after a dominant performance like this where he had the fastball and slider working big time that we saw, especially the fastball was sitting really good, 95, 96 plus. He needs that velo to get the swing miss, and honestly just caught them silly a lot of the times, whether it was a sinker running in or we saw, especially with the forcing fastball down the pipe or up and away. It was really surprising how much he caught these Phillies hitters early on, and then what we saw him do with that absolutely nasty changeup, that was huge for Megill and his success in this as well. That 4-pitch between the sinker, the change, the slider, and the fastball was a thing of beauty. And as we evaluate Tyler Megill's outing, everybody, in this matchup, let's take a look at how he fared with his entire arsenal here. And this thing will load on me. Just give it 1 second here. Come on, Baseball Savant. I know you can load. Let's just do it. I know you want to do it because I want to talk about Tyler Megill. There we go. Megill, everybody. 4-seam fastball 51% of the time tonight. Topped out 97, sat 95, right around there. It was actually slightly below his average on the year velocity-wise. The sinker, 18% of the arsenal, topped out 94, sat right around 93. The slider, 14% of the arsenal, topped out 86, sat right around 83. The changeup at 9% of the arsenal, topped out 89, sat right around 87. The curveball at 8% of the arsenal, topped out 83, 84, and sat right around 82. Tyler Megill was absolutely disgusting today, and even though that he walked one too many guys, I didn't like him walking Turner twice in this one, and he only gave up one hit. So when he can get that walk rate down, everybody, we have something that's not only a big deal, but this could be a mainstay in this Mets rotation if he can keep this up. It all just comes down to the walks for the most part. That will always be the biggest bugaboo for Tyler Megill, because when we look at grading his pitches now on a scale, and this is per Pitch Profiler, who does a fantastic job on X, giving you guys a scale of Pro Stuff Plus. What that means is on a scale of 100, and if you go above 100 on a grade, that means you're above league average as a pitcher with that specific pitch, and if you're below league average, then you're below 100 on your Pro Stuff grade. And listening to the following pitches, everybody, hear it out. Four-seam fastball, 123 Pro Stuff Plus, 23% better than the average pitcher in baseball with his four-seam fastball. Sinker, 106 Stuff Plus, 6% better than league average. Sinker, just above league average at 101. Changeup, 114, so 14% above league average. And the curveball right around league average at 98. So a fantastic job by Tyler Megill in this outing, everybody. And I'm going to say something that I don't say too often when a guy only gives me 5.1 innings. Tyler Megill gets a very strong 7 out of 10 from your guy Wardy today. The only reason why I'm not going farther is because he didn't give us the length. If he gives us the length and similar production like this, Megill's going to find himself in the 8.5 to 9.5 category not long from this outing. I am beyond impressed with what we got from Tyler Megill today. He made this Phillies lineup look stupid from start to finish for the most part, and the fact that he took complete advantage, hammered the strike zone, didn't work around them too much with the exception of Trey Turner, and we had ourselves a really productive outing from Tyler Megill. I want to see from you guys in the chat, in the comments down below, how are you feeling about Big Drip, and what grade would you give Tyler Megill on a scale of 1 to 10? Spam in the chat. Let's see in the comments down below, everybody, and thank you guys kindly for doing that. It really does mean a lot. As we get back in this one, everybody, Reed Garrett finished that 6th inning strong, which then leads us to the 7th. We're in the 7th. We would see Max Kranick come in and get Alec Bowman to line out. Then Clemens flies out and Stott with a fly out. An easy 1-2-3 in the 7th for Bulldog Max Kranick. In the bottom of the 7th, we would see Luis Torrens ground out. Acuna then with a ground out, and pardon me, everybody, not a ground out, I apologize. Acuna got on then that we saw with a single, and now he has not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, but oh yes, 9-game hitting streak. Luis Angel Acuna continues to look fantastic. David Stearns spoke pregame today as to how impressive he has been, and Stearns and Mendoza both noted, as we've reiterated on the platform the last couple days, that Acuna will join guys like McNeil and Nimmo getting center field reps for the time being, with Jose Siri being out until right around mid-June, as he's out 8 to 10 weeks at minimum from the time of his injury there on April 12th. So the Mets want to make sure Acuna is in there pretty much every single day, whether it's at second, whether it's at center, or coming in halfway through the game as a late game defensive replacement, pinch running, stealing a bag, and coming in for maybe an at-bat or so. Acuna needs to be in there every single game. He's getting better every single game, and there has been nothing more exciting, in my opinion, with the exception of what Francisco Lindor, Alonso, and the true focal point this Mets offense has done, Acuna has also been quietly one of the best stories so far this season, and he exemplified that yet again with his 9-game hitting streak continued. After Acuna gets on there with a single, Beatty would then get on with a walk, and here comes in Ruiz after Mr. Aaron Nola threw one too many pitches. We see Nola exit this ball game at just over 100 pitches, and what happens for Ruiz facing Mr. Tyrone Taylor? It's a fielder's choice, so you have runners on the corners then with you out, and then here comes Francisco Lindor doing more of just exactly what we were saying, everybody, and getting himself a no-doubter. It wasn't just that home run to right that was so impressive to begin the ball game, everybody, but it's what Lindor did in the following 3-2 nuked. Oh my goodness gracious, center right field, it's out of here. Francisco Lindor now continues the bombs, continues the heroics, and that at the time gave the Mets themselves now a 5-0 lead. And as we stated from the start of the show, everybody, so many shades from NLDS last year between the Mets and the Phillies, and this game between the two. Oh, absolutely electric. I can't get over it. In the 8th inning, everybody, because the Mets don't do anything from there after Lindor hit that bomb, we would see Tyrone then with a fly out. Pardon me, not Tyrone. Taylor we saw with a fly out. Harper with a ground out, and still we would see a clean inning of work there for Max Kranick after giving up a 2-out single to Schwarber. We would then see a fly out from Nick Castellanos, and that does it. In the 9th, everybody, because the Mets didn't do anything offensively in the 8th. In the 9th, we would see Max Kepler greet Ronley, that being, and Mr. Max Kranick. Max on Max crime right now, which I don't appreciate. Kepler wins this battle by ripping a double. Then we see JT Realmuto drive him in right away with an RBI. That makes it 5-1 Philadelphia. Bohm then with a single, which is frustrating because it's Alec Bohm ripping a single. And that does it for Max Kranick's day. And sadly, you get bad from worse in the ninth inning for Max Kranick in his final line, but he deserves a lot better than what that ERA just got jumped to because of what happened with Edwin Diaz. But now, after Edwin comes in, he gets an out there that we saw on Stevenson, and then a 3-run no-doubter by Bryson Stott makes it a 1-run ball game. Then huge back-to-back strikeouts on Trey Turner and Bryce Harper ultimately ended and won the ball game for the Mets, but not before a messy situation happened. Max Kranick ERA jumps big time from what was originally supposed to be like 1.2 or so to now 2.93 after allowing 3 earned runs in 2 innings. But again, guys, unless you watch the ball game, you're not understanding the context of today's outing. I think that's important. Even though that, yes, it still charged him at the end of the day, I think knowing that Kranick hadn't gone 3 innings at all this season and gets thrown in there against some key hitters there for Philadelphia, when, mind you, this is the toughest competition the Mets have had far and away yet. Phillies are a better team than the Astros. They're a better team than the Blue Jays. They're certainly better than the Marlins. And they obviously are better than what we just played in the St. Louis Cardinals in that 4-game sweep. So this was a big test for Kranick. And now we learn from trial and error. It is what it is now. But I hope Carlos Mendoza doesn't make that same mistake twice. As, mind you, there have only been 9 relievers this season to go 3 innings and do it at 3 shutty. It really hasn't happened at all so far this season, and there's an obvious reason for that. So in the case of Kranick, let's go back to having him be that 1 or 2 inning guy. No need to stretch it a little too thin. Brazoban should have been the likely guy chosen there, in my opinion, to begin the 9th inning, because Brazoban showcased his ability 48 to 72 hours ago after giving up that bomb to then settling in the way that he did there against the Cardinals. I think that would have been a better route for them, but I'm also saying this knowing that this was after everything unraveled with Kranick and after everything unraveled with Diaz. Obviously, I'm complaining less if that home run doesn't happen, and it is what it is. I still would be complaining about Kranick going 3, but I don't know if I would say with certainty that Brazoban would be the guy that I initially thought of at the time, but he's one that I'm thinking about now. So I'm curious how you guys feel about that bullpen management or lack thereof there in the 9th inning. But with that exception, I think this Mets game was fantastic. Francisco Lindor, what a story. And it's games like this for Francisco Lindor where, again, I wish we had at least another day to let this marinate a little bit more, right? Because every time we've had these great home run heroics happen throughout the course of the season, we have a day game the next day, or we have a game right away. So you don't really get to let it marinate and appreciate it the way that I feel like we should as baseball fans. Francisco Lindor is off to a jaw-dropping start this season, and that can be understated. Now at a 284 average and an 840 OPS on the season, our guy has a total of how many home runs? He's already got 5 nukes on the year already. Oh, baby. And looking at the percentiles right now, because I'm sure that they will adjust a little bit in Savant shortly, they fluctuate a lot with Lindor this season, but he's in the 86th percentile in whiff percentage, 82nd in K percentage, 74th in outs above average, so more work to do obviously defensively because of the errors. He's usually right around 99th percentile for contacts, 87th in expected batting average, 72nd in XWOBA, 85th in base running, 66th in fielding run value, just above league average in average exit velocity. Barrel rate is down in the 38th percentile, hard hit percentage is a little up in the 66th percentile, sweet spot is in the 16th, 30th is a bat speed, and then we have squared up percentage and chase percentage right around 60th percent so far this year. So Lindor is continuing to get more and more of a groove. This is the same Lindor that really didn't hit too much the first series or 2 of the year, and then as soon as the Mets got home for their first homestand, that changed everything for Lindor. And I love the fact that this Mets team is clearly feeding off of the fans around them, guys. You need to continue to pack Citi Field every single game. I may be going on my way to attend Wednesday's game now, mainly because of the fact that I really just want to be there more than anything. It's usually I'm the guy that has little interest to hit Citi Field, especially as someone who lives 2+ hours away in Pennsylvania in April when it's usually cold out, the best weather. But one, the weather looks nice on Wednesday as of now. It's going to be 73 degrees or so, if I'm not mistaken. And secondly, the boys are playing so good, they're buzzing, that even if it's an underwhelming Wednesday game going from a night to a day game with the offense, I still want to be there. I mean, Citi Field is just roaring right now. I mean, imagine not going to Citi Field right now if you have the opportunity to do it. This team is going to be special throughout the entire course of the season. They're clearly feeding off of their surroundings. And as Juan Soto, Francisco Lindor, and so many others put it and explained it, that I put in our video that dropped earlier this morning on the Big Mets Updates, guys, Soto said how much he appreciates it, and he said verbatim, I don't think fans seem to realize just how much us players appreciate those gestures of the standing nose, of roaring as constantly as they do. Lindor hearing my girl Saint Alon went north of 40,000 strong each night. How does that not get you amped up to dominate for this team and have all the fans going berserk? And Jesse Winker, a fan favorite since the start, while he was a foe, mind you, he now comes into the fold in a full 162 with us, and he's looking exactly the way that we thought he would. Feeding off of the energy, looking great at home especially, and we know he's going to continue to have those home run heroics when it's most important. Shout out to each and every one of you, to so many of you guys watching this up right now, watching this live on our replay. You guys are the difference maker. The same way that you guys are a difference maker here on the platform by supporting the way that you do, making us the largest Mets platform on YouTube, not directly affiliated with the team themselves. It's all thanks to your endless support. And if you guys can support and uplift me on the daily basis to now over 30,000 strong on the platform, I can only imagine the feelings that the players get when you uplift them on a night-to-night basis by screaming your lungs out for them in a positive manner, not in negative fashion, the way that some schmucks in the media of recent have tried to get you to do. Not the case. Focus on the positive. Be a positive Mets fan. The boys are 9 games above 500. How can you not be feeling at least decent about the team here as we now are getting closer to concluding the month of April? What a start to the year for the Amazons. Jeffrey, absolutely. Let's go Mets, baby. G Money Stacks, how you doing, baby? Happy to have you in the chat, guys. If you guys got comments, questions, concerns for me, please continue to relay them in the chat. I greatly appreciate that. I'm going to rattle off some numbers for you guys before I cut it off for my replay viewers. Before our live viewers, we're going to continue on the show for right around north of an hour. I got a lot that I want to go in back and forth with each and every one of you, especially on answering your questions and stuff like that. Let's see here. I dig the fact that the Mets sold 150K during the Cardinals series. I mean, that's insane. When ever have the Mets gotten that at home at Citi Field in the April series? Never. Moon Shadow, great member. Love this. What fan base has it better than us? Nobody. Love that. That's absolutely sick. How much were in attendance tonight? Just by the naked eye, I assume that there was at least 35 to 40,000. Could probably be more closer on the conservative front, 35, because it's still a Monday night at the end of the day. But definitely, I think you're in the 30 to 35 range, hopefully 35 plus. It was roaring. Like, there was still clearly a good amount of fans at Citi Field on a Monday night spending their hard-earned money when they know their asses, a lot of them have to get up for their 9 to 5, their 7 to 3s, their 6 to... I don't know, there's 6 to 2s, what have you. Maybe you're working nights. Needless to say, this Mets team is giving you every reason and then some to now attend games more than ever. And that's what's so awesome about it. Good tube. Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that. Mets are the best in baseball. They're having a lot of fun right now. They really are, everybody. And I will do 35,430 tonight. There we go. Bang. Love to see that. Absolutely electric. I will do the jingle again for you guys before we wrap up the show, should you have interest. But you got to spam it and remind me in the chat before I let you guys go. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it because I'm going to forget because I'm just speed running. You guys know, if you guys don't know how I work fast. I got a lot to say. I got a lot of opinions to share. I got a lot of knowledge to share. Knowledge in the sense of relaying a lot of information of stats that I just learned, watching the game, sharing my own analysis, my point of view. So I speed run this thing fast at times, so I apologize if I miss a comment here or there, but I would love to do the jingle shimmy for you guys one more time before we get out of here. Because in the meantime, let's talk about how the Mets fared with runners in scoring position, because that will continue to be the story for them this season. Even winning 5-4 in this matchup, the Mets were still a measly 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position. They left 3 on base, and again, they didn't have too many hits. Aaron Nola definitely looked like he was in a groove against this Mets team for the most part. And even with the velo being down this year, he has just continued to pitch well at Citi Field. He has been one of the better pitchers in recent years in the rivalry between the Mets and the Phillies to fare well at home for the Mets, that is, against us. Mets out-hit the Phillies 8-7. They outscored them 5-4. I can't wait to check out their post-game interviews, and their post-game show is just absolutely electric in the best way possible. If you are a biased Mets fan that loves to see Phillies in shambles, but they can't hide their bias at all. Alberto, thank you so much for the kind words. Happy to have you in here. Great member as always. Billy Dottie with the $2 holla states, the Phillies post-game is praising their dad Lindor. I'm glad they are. It's about time that they recognize their father, that is Mr. Lindor himself in Francisco. Brendan with a $5 holla says, Mets fans' greatest saying is there's always next year. Well, this is the year. It is the year, baby. Hype me up, Brendan. Hype me up, baby. Love that. D-Mac with a $2 holla. 16 wins is tops in the league. I said 16-7 is what we are now, right? Love to see that. We're top dog. Top daddy, love to see that, baby. Not complaining there whatsoever. When we take a look at the Mets on the expected batting average front, they had a much more favorable expected batting average, 338 to just a measly 206 for the Phillies. They didn't deserve to hit at all until they finally did there. That we saw in the ninth inning, everybody. Mets gain a game on Philadelphia. They're in the standings. They are now up 3 total on Philly and continue their upward trend on teams like the Atlanta Braves, who lost Spencer Strider to the injured list for 15 games, and Jared Kelenic trying to do his best Josh Donaldson impression, pimping out a home run, but in fact is instead a double, hits it off the wall, is out at second. Acuna takes offense to this. He tweets out how if it was me, it would have been different, and it would have been, and that's where I'm not trying to make this a bigger thing than what it is, but you have to wonder, why did Acuna get so much help from guys like Freddie Freeman and others when he did the exact same thing, but when we saw it happen to Mr. Jared Kelenic, it's fine. Even Ender Encarnacion, that was not Ender Encarnacion, Ender Inciarte, Mets legend, if you know, you know, back in 2018, he did the same exact shit like what Kelenic did, and he was grilled by Snicker and the media. Acuna, the same exact thing, but in the case of Kelenic, it's not the case. You have to wonder why that is. Why is it different for Jared Kelenic, for Brian Snicker, and that Braves coaching staff? I don't know. I'll let you guys figure that one out, but a little bizarre if you ask me. So outside of the turmoil that's plenty in hot Atlanta, it's hot in a dumpster fire fashion, not so much on the raking front. And I see that even as they swept their past series entering tonight's game, if I'm not mistaken. But the Mets are looking good right now, everybody. They have a lot of things clicking. Their pitching staff continues to carry. I love the fact that while I listened to the Phillies pregame show today, because unfortunately I had their broadcast given where I reside, I was listening to how they were so taken back by the pitching staff of the Mets this year. And while I understand not expecting the Mets to have as good a pitching as they have, I'm also surprised that these Phillies and their broadcast hasn't learned any better by now of what the Mets have been building the past 2 years. I mean, if they just did, I don't know, 20 seconds of homework, then they would know what a pitching lab is. They should know what a pitching lab is, because the Phillies don't have a terrible one at all. They're not as analytical as the Mets, but they do have a good lab, and they have people coming over from, Tread Athletics, among others. I actually have a buddy, shout out to my guy Rylan, if he ever sees this for whatever reason. My guy Rylan Dominguez actually works in the Phillies pitching staff, specifically as a guy that's from Tread Athletics, like Driveline, where you're really working on all the newfound information to get the best out of pitchers. And they've had a good lab the past couple of years, which is why, that's in part why they've had one of the best rotations out of the National League. And with adding Jesus Luzardo, it only made it better for them. So you think that a team that has the knowledge on the pitching front would understand what the Mets are building. I can understand being surprised a little bit, but like at the same time, if you guys followed along at all what the Mets did in spring training leading up to this point, it is clear as day that we shouldn't be overly shocked by these things anymore. Them having the top lab in the game right now is evident, and we're seeing it with our very eyes. The Mets have the top ERA in baseball. The Mets have the top overall pitching staff in baseball between bullpen and pitching. They are a full WAR higher, a full 1 win higher than the next closest team in WAR as a pitching staff. As a bullpen, they also lead all Major League Baseball in WAR and are top 3 in ERA, only trailing the Padres and the Giants entering today's game. Now, naturally, that got inflated a little bit today, so we'll see what happens after tonight's game, but still a lot of things to be encouraged by if you're a Mets fan, if you ask me. Dombrowski's analytics is handing out free 100% it's handing out free agent contracts. That's what he's known for. Big bucks. He was doing the same thing when he was there with Boston, but the difference is that that's when they had Theo Epstein, when you actually had a mastermind that knew the numbers. Not so much the case here with Phillies and how they're ran. They're definitely more of a boomer bust team. Great pitching, but very boomer bust on the offense that we saw yet again tonight. So, Mets fans, that is going to do it. Let me see if I have one final stat or two for you that I may want to share. These are some good ones here. Oh, this is a good one, everybody. Let me leave you with this for Francisco Lindor. Then I'll cut things off for people on replay, and for our live viewers, we'll continue on the discussion so I can answer your comments. On the Francisco Lindor front, everybody, Lindor's last 2 games, 5 for 8 with a .625 average, 1 walk, 3 home runs, 2 leadoff, mind you, 5 RBIs, 5 runs. Lindor, yeah, okay, I had 2 home runs, but at the end of the day, guys had quality at-bats today, and that's why we won. If that isn't the best example of what it means to be a captain and a leader of an organization, I don't know what is. No matter what, he will be as selfless and as humble as they come. He is the best thing that ever happened to this organization. Whether you love it or hate it, folks, we have in large part to thank, yes, Jared Porter. Jared Porter, before he was out of baseball for being a little bit too much of a schmuck in the worst way imaginable with women. Prior to that, Jared Porter was on the cusp of being potentially the best young GM for the Mets, with the exception of David Stearns to enter the fold a couple years later. Acquires Francisco Lindor for a no defense Ahmad Rosario. An exciting but still more contact hitting Andres Jimenez, who's already been salary dumped to the Toronto Blue Jays. Josh Wolf, Green, prospects that are nobodies. I think it was Isaiah Green was his name. I'm not even entirely sure. Talk about a lopsided win. Talk about a big trade. Shout out to what the Mets have gotten out of Francisco Lindor. Now from 2021 to present, he has been without question the best thing that someone could possibly ask for. So everybody watching live, let's continue on this discussion, everybody. So all my replay viewers, this is where we're going to cut things off. So everybody, let me know your key takeaways in the comments down below from this massive 5-4 Game 1 victory as the Mets continue their dominant homestand, 10-1 on the season, 5-0 to begin this specific homestand over a 7-game stretch. Let's see if the boys can take the series dub tomorrow. Game 2, where we're going to be live for our watch party segment live in the playback.tv app. Link down below for you guys to check out, playback.tv/WardyNYM, live throughout the entire Mets game. Watching the Mets game live, if you have an MLB TV subscription, that's all you need to sign up through Playback, and we'll be live here on YouTube as well with a scoreboard for you guys to check out, and I will interact with the chats as I always do. Thank you guys again. Replay viewers, let me answer your comments, questions, and concerns. Everyone on replay, this is where we're cutting things off.